No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of Friday Night Smackdown on the USA Network with Bad Blood just over a week away. Shout out to everybody watching this, whether it's live or on demand. I very much appreciate your viewership and support. Now, let's get to SmackDown. We opened up the show with the Viper, the Apex Predator, the Legend Killer, Randy Orton. He talked about having business on Raw for a little bit, but he missed SmackDown. And he mentioned Cody Rhodes. He said Cody Rhodes is one of the few people that he can trust, but he needs to know why Cody Rhodes is teaming with Roman Reigns at Bad Blood. Sure enough, the world champion, Cody Rhodes, made his way to the ring. He brought up how Roman Reigns gave his word. Cody is going to take Reigns at his word. He said it's time for the new bloodline to be killed, and he hopes that that is not a problem for Randy Orton. They shook hands, and Randy Orton said, it's not a problem unless Cody makes it a problem. At this point, Kevin Owens came out there, but before he could even say anything, the bloodline showed up. Solo told Oklahoma City to acknowledge him. And the crowd, of course, responded by chanting OTC. Solo said that Cody is going to need Roman Reigns at Bad Blood because Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, they will not be any good for Cody. They've let Cody down every time. Owens then decided to issue a challenge for a tag match, and Cody was down for that, down for a six-man, but Owens just wanted a straight-up tag team match, him and Randy Orton versus Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. That was set up for the main event. I thought it was a solid opener to set up the main event, continues the build for Bad Blood, builds up the tension between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. We had our first match of the evening, which was Bayley and Naomi. Now, before that, Nia Jax vented to Tiffany Stratton. She was not happy about the tag match from last week, and Tiffany apologized, but then Nia warned that if something happens to Nia's title run, things could get very bad for Tiffany Stratton. The tensions continue to build with them. We had Bayley versus Naomi. Back and forth, competitive match between these two. It did get heated. They were shoving each other. Bayley was able to avoid the rear view, but then Naomi came over the top with a corkscrew plancha. And then after the commercial break, Bayley took control for a while. She got Naomi in the ring after hitting a suicide dive, but then she did get taken down with the rear view. They traded shots. The crowd was chanting, "This is awesome." Naomi came off the top with a pretty good-looking blockbuster. Bayley kicked out of that. And then Bayley was able to avoid a top rope move from Naomi. She hit the Bayley to belly, and then she went up top, finished off Naomi with the flying elbow, and got the 1-2-3 victory. Now, after the match was over, Andrade confronted LA Knight about the handshake. LA Knight did not shake Andrade's hand last week. LA Knight, he didn't do it. And Andrade said that he lost respect for LA Knight. Then Carmelo Hayes came in and took a cheap shot at LA Knight before taunting Andrade. The Bayley and Naomi match, I thought was solid. Bayley now gets the one-on-one match. They could have done a triple threat, but I'm fine with the one-on-one match. Now, I did want to bring this up because the comment in the chat room, yeah, they screwed up Bayley's entrance. Damage Control was the Titantron when Bayley came out there. Somebody did not get the memo that it's been a long time since Bayley's been part of Damage Control. We had Andrade versus Carmelo, the 6th match in this series. Andrade power slammed Andrade. Andrade power slammed Carmelo onto the apron, and then it went back and forth for a bit. Carmelo hit the first 48 code breaker move. Andrade kicked out of that. We had not one but 2 commercial breaks in this. Andrade did his deal where he goes for the moonsault. Carmelo moves, but then Andrade hits the standing moonsault. Carmelo kicked out of that, and then both of them were on top, and Carmelo ended up countering Andrade and his neck breaker with like a cutter move. The crowd was chanting, "Holy shit." Carmelo then got knocked to the outside of the ring, and as you might expect, LA Knight showed up looking for a piece of Carmelo. Andrade tried to stop him. LA Knight was on the apron, and Carmelo knocked Andrade into LA Knight, and then Carmelo rolled up Andrade and got the 1-2-3 victory. So it is now tied 3 apiece. And after the match, things got heated between Andrade and LA Knight. LA Knight this time went for a handshake, and Andrade refused. Andrade just stormed off. This definitely feels like it's moving towards a triple threat, but now they're tied apiece. So as we all expected, this is like the modern day Chris Benoit versus Booker T, the best out of 7. And I'm sure they'll be having that 7th and final match. But will it somehow get turned into a triple threat? Will Carmelo and Andrade end up being friends? Who knows? But they're definitely building up some heat for the United States Championship. I could see a triple threat. I could see Carmelo getting the next crack like next week, and then in 2 weeks they do the 7th match. We'll see what they come up with. But yeah, usual good match from these guys. Backstage, Cody Rhodes wanted to talk to Kevin Owens, but Owens said they could talk later. He's got to focus on the match. And he told Cody to stay in the back during the tag match. And then after Owens left, Randy Orton personally told Cody that he would like Cody's help if they need it, if the Tongas get involved. There was a video package for AJ Styles. AJ Styles will be back on next week's SmackDown. Not sure what's next for AJ, but he will be back on next week's episode. We then had Michin versus Piper Niven. So next week, it's Michin versus Chelsea Green in a dumpster match. And this was the setup for that. I mean, you know Michin's not losing this. I really did not care about it too much. The match was pretty good, though. Piper was using her strength and Chelsea with the distraction. Piper did the cannonball off the apron. Michin, though, was able to fight back. She did the crucifix bomb. Piper kicked out of that. Piper then came back with a boss man slam and then went for the Vader bomb, but Michin avoided it. Michin tried to build up some momentum, but then Piper took her down with a Michinoku driver, and then Michin managed to kick out of that. Chelsea Green distracted the referee. Piper went for a cannonball on the outside of the ring. She ended up not connecting with Michin. Instead, she went into the trash can that Chelsea brought out there. Michin was able to get Piper back in the ring and then finished her off. 1, 2, 3. No surprise here. Michin picks up some momentum heading into next week's dumpster match with Chelsea Green. And then backstage, Naomi gave props to Bayley, said she deserves the title. After Bayley wins the title against Nia Jax at Bad Blood, they can have their final match. They can run it back one more time for the championship this time. And Bayley seemingly agreed to that. That is, of course, if she can win the title. They parted ways. Naomi walked away. And then Tiffany Stratton was taunting Naomi. So Naomi said she was going to go to Nick Aldis and set up a match for next week versus Tiffany Stratton. There you go. We had our main event of the evening, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens versus Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. Randy Orton had some early momentum. He slammed Fatu on the table. Fatu no-sold it. So Randy Orton did it several more times, and then Solo got slammed on the table for good measure. But during the break, after Owens had tagged in, Bloodline gained the upper hand. They worked over Owens for a while. Owens was eventually able to tag in Orton. Orton built up momentum on Solo, but then Fatu provided a distraction. Solo gained the upper hand with a Samoan drop, and then Kevin Owens tagged back in. Owens was on fire, taking out both guys, and at this point, the Tongas ran down, and sure enough, Cody Rhodes did come out there to make the save, and Owens hit the stunner to Solo Sikoa, but Jacob Fatu ended up throwing Cody into the referee, knocking down the referee, so the referee could not make the cover. And then Jacob got in the ring, took out Kevin Owens with a super kick, and Solo Sikoa was able to get the 1, 2, 3 victory. No surprise here. Bloodline picks up the victory. You further the tensions between Kevin Owens and Cody. Owens was very upset after the match. He shoved Cody. Randy Orton had to get into the middle to cool things down, and eventually Kevin Owens hugged Cody Rhodes as the show was going off the air. Shout out to Building Nexus, who sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Says, who's more likely at Bad Blood, Jimmy's return or a Kevin Owens turn? I'm thinking Kevin Owens' turn at this point. I think Bad Blood would be the place to do it, but we're going to talk about predictions soon. I definitely sense a split between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. It's just a matter of when, not if. I could see that being another match, this time with Kevin Owens as the heel. Kevin Owens completely snapping and losing it. I definitely see that happening sometime before the year is over, before 2024 comes to an end. It was a very good angle to close out the show. I mean, it's funny because they're setting up the tag match, but at the same time, we got this storyline with Cody and KO, and I could definitely see that being an effective way to get Cody out of the Bloodline storyline. And I really do feel that Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa need the win at Bad Blood. You really want to keep them strong, especially if there's some kind of a War Games match at Survivor Series. You want the Bloodline, the new Bloodline, to be as strong as possible going into that event. All in all, I think SmackDown was okay, but I do feel that it was mostly a skippable show. You did have some good wrestling matches, and I do like the angle at the end. So that bumps it up, I think, slightly above an average wrestling show. I guess I would go with a B-. Not the most memorable SmackDown by any means, but it was pretty good overall. And I did like the ending. Still no Roman Reigns. He's only showing up every now and then, but apparently he's going to be on 6 SmackDowns, 3 in October, 3 in November, which pretty much tells you he'll be part of Crown Jewel and then Survivor Series. We will get some more Roman, and things should start picking up after Bad Blood to build up Crown Jewel and Survivor Series. Bad Blood looking like a very strong show. You got 6 matches. Bayley versus Nia Jax. I mean, I don't really think we need it on the card. I would have rather had maybe Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker, although they did get a lot of time on Raw, so I guess that's fine. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching tonight. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube and spread the word. Tell a friend about the NoDQ.com YouTube channel. The No DQ review will be at a special start time, Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, 1 hour earlier than the usual 8 start time. So keep that in mind. 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, Sunday night, No DQ review. I'll post reminders on social media. Stay tuned for that. Have a great weekend, everyone. Stay safe. Stay healthy to everyone out there. Much love to you all. Say yes to NoDQ.com, and I will see you all next time.